What's going on, YouTube? So today we're going to begin learning one of the most basic fundamental principles of working with FL Studio or any sequence program for that matter. 9090. So the most basic thing that I found myself having trouble with was the relationship between the tempo and the sequencer. This is the sequencer. I'm sure you figured that out. This is the tempo. Now when you change this, you'll start to realize that it fucks all this up. You kind of have trouble with this. And so the kick begins it. Okay, so now we're talking about drums. The kick begins, it goes kick, snare. Now the most basic pattern there is what's called a 4 on the floor. Kick, hat, snare, hat. Kick, hat, snare, hat. And the relationship between this is such... Sorry, let me cue that down. Cue that down some for you guys. And the issue I was having is basically for me that I would change the tempo and it would just mess everything up for myself. So this is 130. Now you can build it like this. The way music's supposed to be when you read it is it's in a measure. Now if you build it big like this, which a lot of electronic artists do, they build them kind of funky in my opinion, kind of because of how I understand it. Kick, and then all the space in between. You can build it at 130. It's a higher tempo. Or you can cut the tempo in half, take it down to 65, and you can build it to take in less space, and you can fit more in the sequencer like this. And it really doesn't matter. It depends on preference. This is known as a measure, by the way, too, because it's 2 beats. 2 beats is a measure. Doesn't really matter how you build it. I tend to build between 60 and 120 because I build it like this. But a lot of people, and it took me a while to figure this out. I took years. Build it like this, where it's a beat. I mean, it's a whole beat. But you got to double this back up again. You got to take this to 130. See, and it's the same speed, same tempo. It's just the way that you're viewing the sequencer is what changes. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around at first. But that's basically how it works. So, if you want to make it big like this, you're going to have a high number. If you want to make it smaller, like this, you're going to have a lower number. And that's about the best way that I can describe it. It'll take you a while to wrap your head around, but that's the most basic thing that I found tripped me up a lot in my beginnings working creating music.